Hi, this is Dave LaRue, bassist for Flying Colors, and you are listening to Metal Wani.
Hello, Mr. Dave LaRue. How are you doing, sir?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing good. Wow, I can see the studio. All the basses are up there and looks like...
Yep. Yeah, I got my board over there, and yep, there's my, well, you can't see my computer station because I'm looking at you through.
Wonderful, sir. How is the day going on so far?
Well, it was good till I tried to get on Skype, but we've worked that out, so here we are.
That's wonderful. Now, you must be looking forward to the new album. I mean, you guys, what can I say? Started 3 years ago, had no idea about each other. But as you guys worked together, slowly you built a monument. You know, the camaraderie and the brotherhood just kept everything free flowing. And now with the new album, so how has been the journey so far?
Well, let me just correct you on one thing. Steve and I have been working together for a long time, so there was built-in chemistry there, and then Neil and Mike had worked together.
That's right.
So, and I had worked with Mike, with John Petrucci, so there was some cross,
connection.
Connections there, and we all knew each other. Well, I didn't know Neil, and at all, so that was new for me. He didn't know me, but. So it's kind of a mixing of a lot of different pots all together, a lot of different things all together.
True.
But the chemistry has been great. But it has, even though we had worked together in separate little groups before, getting together with Flying Colors was a completely different thing. With the 5 of us collaborating. And of course, Casey came in later, and he's amazing. Yeah, he's a real positive force and a very strong force in the whole the writing situation and everything. I mean, he's just full of ideas, contributes a lot, and of course, we love his voice and all that. Very musical guy.
Absolutely, that's awesome. Now, with the new album, when the idea of Second Nature was presented to you, what did you think?
Me personally?
Yeah.
Well, we knew it was a matter. We all. When we ended the last tour after having done the live DVD, we knew that at some point we would do the record, and it was just a matter of timing. And we kept trying to shoehorn in a few days here and a few days there for us to write together. So everybody was very positive about it. That's for sure. We all wanted to do it. It's just a matter of when. And we couldn't find a time to get together. So the first couple of ideas that we worked on were actually via Skype.
Oh, awesome.
We did conference calls, and somebody would play something, and we'd play stuff back and throw ideas around. So a couple of the tunes, I think Bombs Away started on Skype, and in one of the, I don't know if it was the Fury, and of course just the initial stages. Once we get together, we said, all right, we like that idea. Let's work on that more. Once we were all in the same room. But we had a couple ideas that we had thrown around before that. I believe Bombs Away and The Fury are 2 of them. There may be another 1 or 2.
Right.
A lot of new stuff came in. But yeah, we finally found like a 3-day window, I think last January or something. And then we were able to find another slightly longer, maybe 4 or 5 days, couple months back, and we finished writing. It's amazingly how fast the band worked.
I'm so surprised because if I'm not wrong, the first album took 9 days to complete, and now
that's correct.
You said 3 days in January, and then you mentioned long, and I was expecting like 2 weeks, and then you said 5 days. So that seems to be like a compact number of days you guys were working together.
I think we actually spent less days together on this record, but we did have the Skype kind of head start.
Right.
So it's roughly the same. It ends up being about the same. But yeah, this band is amazing. I mean, when we're working, you got to pay attention because things are flying around like crazy. Ideas are coming out, and like, what lick is that? What are we doing? Where are we going? So it's amazing. We're very productive, and of course, all these guys so musical.
Absolutely.
Sometimes we're in a quandary, hung up on a song because there's too many ways to go. You know, 3 things will be in the works. It's like, well, where do we want to go with this?
Right.
And so sometimes we'll finally decide and use another part later or something. But yeah, it's a great process. I've learned a lot just working with how the band works together. You know, it's
That's
been
cool.
great to be a part of that.
That's awesome. Now, were you guys wondering, like, you know, the first album was done, then the successful tour happened. So were you guys expecting to take some time off with your own projects and then rejoin after 3 to 4 years for the second album?
Well, the reality of the situation is everybody does a lot of different things. So we knew it would be a while.
Okay.
I mean, and that's why the tour ended up being the short length was. It was only a couple of weeks because everybody had to get back to other things. And we did, at that point, we had no idea when we would start back. And it's a matter of, again, when we ended up getting together on Skype because we couldn't find a time to get together. We said, let's move forward with this at least.
Okay.
So we started that, and then when those little windows came up and, you know, people ended up canceling vacations or whatever just so we could get together, you know, we all had plans and people moved things aside so that the band could stay, you know, so we could keep things moving and really move the record forward. So, and that gives us more incentive to finish.
Absolutely.
You know?
That's awesome. Now, you got to tell me this, in this compact kind of days, how was Bill? I mean, I'm sure he would have been on top of store. He was waiting for you guys to work together, and he's been supportive from the day one. I'm sure about that.
Bill's done a lot of work for us that none of us can really do. But he wasn't at the writing sessions this time. And we had no producer this time. I felt strongly about that. We threw that idea around. You know, we had worked with Peter Collins on the first record, and Peter's great.
Right.
But basically, this band is 5 producers.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, and I, not alone, but I felt that we didn't need that. And that really, I mean, Peter contributed a lot of ideas, but we directed it, the first record.
Okay.
And I thought, you know, and again, not me solely, but I know I felt strongly that when we got together that first time, we were talking about, should we bring a producer in? And I definitely advocated for it. Let's try it without. Okay. One of the biggest things with the forceful personalities in this band and the musical creativity that comes out of everybody is some of the guys felt that we needed somebody to kind of arbitrate. And if there's, if we're at this point, it's like, no, I like this chord or I like this chorus better, I'm not moving. That we needed somebody to referee. But I didn't think we would need that. And we kind of do it by majority feel. Like if we all feel, if 3 of us say, nah, this is cooler, let's go that way. Everybody's been great about giving up their, you know, what they're holding dear.
Right.
That part is like, yeah, but we want to go. So I thought that would happen, and it was great. Everybody works together. That entails a little sacrifice. Things get changed that you really are attached to.
Absolutely.
But you know, it worked great. And
that's where the strong connection comes into the picture. I mean, you guys have worked. This is for the second time now on tour. I'm sure there would have been a lot of interactions between you guys, and now with the second album, the amount of commitment and also the comfortable zone would have been even better this time. And that's surely evident, like you already explained it to me.
Yeah, exactly. Having done it once, I knew we could do it by ourselves, and we didn't have to worry about, okay, now when do we get the studio, and where's the producer, and oh, he can't make it. Well, so now we can't get together. It's like we got enough problems getting together. So the 5 of us just forged ahead, and after the first session, we all were in the same room. It was evident that we were good to go, and we said, heck with that. Let's just forge ahead, and we did. And now it's a self-produced album. The band produced it, and
that's wonderful.
I'm very pleased with the results. I don't think, well, a producer would have certainly changed some things, but I think one of the great things that I really like about this band is that the music is very organic. We don't we don't really sit there and go, okay, we need this kind of song, and then we need the slow song, and then but make it a little more poppy. It's too complicated. No, that's getting. We don't do that.
Okay.
We kind of now there's a lot of influences that bring in all those elements,
right?
But we don't force it. It's kind of like, what do we like?
Naturally.
And it's sometimes, you know, will somebody bring in an idea, we'll play it, it's like, nah, it's not for us. And we just cast it aside and move on to the next thing. But the music kind of develops, like I said, organically. I say that a lot, but that's what I really like about this band, that it's the culmination of the 5 personalities creating what we want to create.
It's a surprise for fans as well, because here I am.
It's a surprise for us too.
Here I am thinking about the album like this is how it's gonna be, and at the other side I'll be like, I don't know what's Dave gonna bring this time. What's Neil gonna come up with, and what sort of a riff is Steve gonna come up with? So it's more like I cannot expect what's gonna happen. And I had a look at the track list. I felt the songs are longer this time compared to the debut album. I mean, you are starting with a 13-minute piece, Open Up Your Eyes, and then concluding with a 12-minute piece, Cosmic Symphony. Yeah. So I mean, that seems like there's some sort of a time been spent on the flow as well as the order of the album.
Well, yeah, Mike kind of regulates he likes to sequence everything. He really thinks a lot about what needs to go where. He's great at that. But it was funny because in that, along those lines, I remember I think it was the last day we were getting together, and I was like, Mike, we only got 9 tunes, man. We don't have an album yet. What are we going to do? We're on the last day. We can't write 4 songs in one day. And he said, we have more time than we did on the first record.
All right.
And we was like, oh, you're right. We have the album.
Wow.
So we were good to go. Yeah, I didn't realize, you know, when we're just creating all this stuff and putting it together, I didn't realize, oh, that one's 7 minutes, this one's 13, this one's 12. Next thing you know, we have over an hour of new material.
That's awesome. Now, whenever I listen to the first album, especially a track like Kayla, that seems to be built around your bass lines. Maybe if I'm wrong, please correct me. But I really felt that, you know, kudos to Michael Brower for the mix. I mean, I just love the whole vibe on the album when it comes to your bass. Can we expect some sort of, you know, bass-oriented songs on Second Nature?
No, there's a couple lines that are, but even Kayla, that came after the fact. I mean, that's one of the nice things too. We really work and we let templates. Like we sort of construct the song and everybody plays very basic parts, just reference parts. Like, okay, we got the chorus chords here. You know, nobody's worrying that much about performance or nailing it down. We record with a click, and then Mike goes in and lays the drum tracks down, and then I have the luxury. I really take time thinking about what the song needs,
right,
and what would help it, or what's appropriate. On Mask Machine, for example, this time around, you know, I listened to that, and it didn't need anything. From anything that I would do that would be over the top would have detracted from that song.
Right.
I mean, that vibe is, I mean, I just pumped eighth notes and I was digging it.
Okay.
Because it would have killed the tune for me to just do stupid stuff.
Right.
In the middle of it. Now, a lot of the other tunes where I recorded a lot of the stuff for the templates, just playing roots, you know, kind of trying to feel the chord progression and fill it up, but not sure. And then what I was going to do, and then when I would get to the studio, it's like, we need more kind of melodic content from the bass in this area. It's just boring,
right?
You know, and the song needs a lift. So I try to provide some of that, but it's nice because I do have the luxury of thinking about and experimenting with. Well, usually I'll cut a very simple part and then go, no, we need more than that. I can do better. I can help the song more, become more of an integral part of the composition as opposed to just playing roots through everything.
So is it safe to say that, I mean, looking at the songwriting talent that's in the band, when you guys wanted to, let's say, contribute something or give some sort of a feedback, you had confidence in each other looking at how the other one is approaching. So it was more organic as well as acceptable, reliable, looking at how all of you are working together. And now with Casey as well, were there any guitar lines written by him? Because he was damn awesome when I saw him playing live.
Oh, yeah, he's great. Yeah, everybody's, that's what I mean, it's kind of we sort of produce our own parts once we're at the juncture of you know, okay, now let's cut the bass tracks and do this, and I do that, and then there'll be feedback from the guys if need be. Although they're usually, yeah, that's good. Okay, we're good to go.
Right.
And then Neil really spends a lot of time thinking about sounds, and he does a great job with that. Steve will add extra guitar parts. So yeah, you know, then of course the vocal things get built up when they have a real track to work with, and then they explode with stuff. So, but yeah, everybody does a great job. It goes back to what I said earlier. We got 5 producers in this band, so
absolutely,
you know,
that's awesome. No,
yeah, nobody takes it out so far that it's just like, what are you doing?
Okay.
You've changed the song, you know. Yeah.
That's cool. Now, Casey was a surprise package in your debut album, and I'm sure he's the last person which probably Mike brought into the band. Now,
exactly.
Now, looking at 4 of you, you, Neil, Steve, and Mike, did you guys ever think about bringing a famous person as a singer? Of course, the cool thing about the band was going to be the writing experience and the collaboration, but I felt like if you guys probably would have thought about bringing in a famous personality, would Flying Colors have achieved that sound that was, you know,
no,
that's shown
absolutely not, which is why we went with Casey. Actually, that discussion happened with about several people that we were thinking of bringing in, and you know, it would have been kind of a, I guess I don't want to say a super group, but kind of a, you know, just this thrown together thing. And we already, it's pretty funny because if you look at the 4 of us, it would almost be like a prog band, or, you know, Dream Theater meets the Dregs. and Mike had the foresight to say, no, Casey's the guy, and he lent such a great melodic sense to the band, and changed the direction of the band somewhat. Yeah, he was the perfect choice, and I think that gives us our own identity too. He's a very strong part of the sound of Flying Colors now.
That's wonderful. He surely is. Now, you are very, you know, prolific with all your music. You've worked with so many artists. Do you map it out, or is it a case of doing the music as the offers and ideas come along?
Well, what do you mean with each?
I mean, with everyone which you work with. I mean, is it more like exploring the musical spectrum of Dave LaRue's life, or it's more like, of course, take up the challenge and nail each and every part of it?
Well, I mean, I guess I always just try to bring the most I can to the music, but always play the appropriate stuff too. I mean, there's a professional side of it, and then I try to go a little beyond.
Okay.
Add, you know, hopefully I add a little more than the run-of-the-mill guy would do. You know, I try to bring, and I inject my personality into it, but I don't like to play just for the sake of it.
Okay.
You know?
I understand.
You know, that's just ridiculous. I want us to make great music, and I try to see where I fit into that. And of course, from my perspective, being a bass player that does what I do, I mean, I always think that the bass can have a larger role and can do things that may not be traditional for the bass, playing melodies and playing chords. I mean, with the Steve Morse band, he keeps me so on my toes because he just throws things at me constantly. Here, play these. Right, tap this part, do this. You take the solo here. It's like, whoa. So it really lets me utilize my entire arsenal. But Flying Colors is more of a functional role, but I still try to put it to add to the songs like we were talking about earlier. And the same thing when I was with Joe Satriani. A lot of his stuff is pretty cut and dried with functional bass parts. So I would start from there, but it's like, how do I make this better?
Okay.
But without, you know, taking a bass solo on everything,
okay.
You know, but trying to augment the music.
Right. That's awesome. Now, is there any? Yes, please.
I was just going to say, I try to think musically in the big picture about everything that I do. You know, again, my role with the Steve Morse band is different than my role with Flying Colors, although my personality cuts through all that somewhat.
Right, that's awesome. Now, how many personal songs are there on the album? I mean, more like a personal journey for, let's say, Casey, or maybe Mike, or maybe you?
Well, every song is written by the band, but usually somebody will have one idea, and we'll start from there, and then things change. And I mean, it might. We have a policy of no songs.
Okay.
Nobody brings in a whole song.
Right.
No, none of that. So like Bombs Away, the first riff, the kind of
Right.
that whole thing, that much Casey brought in.
Okay.
And even that got changed a little bit. But there was nothing else to the song at that point.
That's
so
awesome.
we started from there. It's like, oh, everybody said, oh, that's a cool groove. Let's go with that. And he had a cool, and that vocal part he had it. And when talking about this, let me just say that, my memory may differ from other people's memories.
Okay.
But as I remember it, that's kind of how that evolved. He brought in that one piece, and then we really worked on that. I think we got a little more in the Skype sessions, and then we totally changed it and added to it and grew the tune when we were all together. But that was the starting point, and from there on, it was all of us being together.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Now, I need to know this. Has this been captured on the camera for a DVD along with the album?
Well, let me see. We haven't done any live shows yet, but they did a lot of filming recently. We shot a produced video of Mask Machine.
Okay.
And then we went to the recording studio and did some shooting of a couple of the other songs in studio.
Okay.
And then there's interviews and all that crap for DVD. Yeah, I mean, we were like talking for days. So.
So has the live session been shot like when you guys were composing? Is that available in the DVD, or is just gonna be like one-off?
I don't think so. Although some people are always shooting. Mike always takes footage at different times. But usually, if we're kind of breaking, he'll sort of watch everybody. Or if Stephen Casey are talking about something, he might put his camera on. So who knows what'll end up in there. But we didn't really have an official cameraman there while we were writing.
Okay.
And that part we like to keep, I think, more in-house anyway. That's where the magic happens. And
absolutely.
And you never know what's going to be said or thrown around, so
right.
You don't want all that on video for all time.
Absolutely. Now it all comes back to the same thing now. New album is done, will release next month, then you'll plan for a tour. Now this time, I'm expecting you guys to explore different areas and play more gigs. Of course, that depends on how the time frame you guys come up with. So has there been any discussion on that as to
there is, but right now this is all we've been able to do. So when we get together in October, I'm sure we're going to see what the next possibility is. Right now, everybody's we're just getting ready for this. We got a lot of new music to learn, and so yeah, we'll address that at that point. And I'm sure everybody's going to want to try to find a place where we can do more and go to different areas.
And that brings me to the question, will we be lucky enough to see Flying Colors in India?
I hope so. I'd love to go to Asia in general and get over your way, but at this point I can't promise that. There's nothing planned beyond the October tour, and as I said, we'll discuss what's possible at that point. And everybody will have a better idea of what 2015 is looking like for them, or if they can reserve a time slot for us to do something.
Right, so if not Flying Colors for next 1 or 2 years, at least I can expect you to come for a bass clinic here in India.
Well, that would be great. I hope so. I'll see what I can work out. I'm doing a solo record too, so I'd like to do some traveling behind that. Yeah, I have a great band here in Florida, a guitar player. Bobby Cole is an amazing player. So I'm finishing that up, and when that's out, I want to get out and travel some. I mean, it'd be small places because it's instrumental fusion-y stuff. But yeah, I want to get out there and do some things.
And you know what? I can't figure out the number of guitars I can see in your studio right now.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, that's one wall. Those are the ones I use most of the time. Although I don't know if you can see. Yeah, there's
I
my
can see.
name.
Right. Wow. So
that's on the stand. That's the one I'm playing. I'm actually recording something for somebody else today, so that's ready to go. But yeah, I have a lot of interest. I mean, I work very closely with Music Man.
Okay.
So they're really good about equipping me with spare, and then, I I use a lot of different basses. So when we manufactured the bongo, and I had a hand in helping the design of that, the electronics. I was there for the research and development of that. Mm-hmm. But then once that happens, when I started playing the bongos, then I needed, of course, a 4-string and a backup, and then a 5-string. So I have, here's one of my 5-string bongos, and then they sent me this prototype of the 6-string when they started doing that. Yeah, it's a great bass, this 6-string, but it's crazy for me. So I'm still working on that.
That's wonderful. I think your phone is ringing.
That's all right, not important.
No problem. Now, I would like to know about what's the plan ahead. I mean, from Dave LaRue's vision, what does the future for Flying Colors hold?
Well, I hope that at some point, it just depends if everybody can get free for a period of time. I mean, I would love if some people took a break and then we decided to do a summer tour and really spend some time promoting this new record.
Right.
And maybe at some point shoot another live DVD. They're talking about shooting this tour, which it seems kind of weird to me because we already did a live DVD and we just did that. Now we got a new album.
Awesome.
We got to do another.
I'm sure fans will be expecting any material from you.
They love it. So that they're we're still in the process of album 2.
Okay.
So we haven't completed that. So we're not looking farther ahead other than to try to find more time for us to play.
Right.
I would like for us to play more and really have a chance to sink our teeth into the band and play where we're really comfortable. When you've been out for a month, by that 3rd week, the band is humming.
Absolutely, I agree with you.
And that's what I would like for us to get to, be able to do a 6-week run and really promote the record as well. But just get out and play and have some fun with that, because it seems like the band spends more time in the studio than we do playing live. It's like I like to play some gigs.
Right, that's definitely true.
So that would be ideal for me, but that it all remains to be seen. Depends on everybody's schedule. It's hard because you got 5 busy guys.
Right, absolutely. Now, Dave, I'll conclude the interview with a simple question for you to define second nature in just one sentence.
Wow. Well, I think it goes back to what we've been talking about. Mm-hmm. I think it's just a really organic collaboration of 5 really strong musical personalities.
Bingo. Expected you to hit the nail, and you definitely did it.
Good.
Thanks a lot, Dave. It's been an honor having a chat with you. You spared some time. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure.